Hi, it's Martin from Martin's Engine Services. Just thought we'd give you a little update on what's been going on today on Operation Transit. As you can see, I have got the prefabricated front section in place. It's all bolted down. Everything's lined up nicely, so that's all worked out perfectly. And I've now been working on attaching it to the rest of the body or the load deck. I fitted these rails here, which is where the floor sits in here. They're just welded in there, joined them to the original, here. So when I carry on with the decking, I just tack it to the sides. I fitted the front section of the side rail here, got it all lined up, seam welded that in. That's all gone in nicely. Got it all squared up, run the straighties along the top, and it actually worked out remarkably well, considering this body is a little bit out of shape where it was made originally, and I've tried to make everything I've done as square as possible. There is only actually about a 1mm variation in the height between here and here on this side and on the driver's side, which is quite remarkable considering everything. I thought it'd be a lot worse than that. You see, I fitted the a protection rail there for the cab, and I mean, it won't stop you coming through if you really got it wrong, but it will give you some protection if you sort of overrun a little bit. And there's the doubler plate, or the trebler plate actually, for the winch, completely seam welded in, and that didn't go in nowhere. Welded these sections in here as well. It's all tied in. That's all tack welded in there. Put this piece in here, which is for the floor to come into, the wooden centre bolt on floor. I couldn't see any point in doing it how they did originally, because they carried the wood right the way through to here. And of course, the water just sits between the wood and this piece of steel plate, and it sweats the paint off. So it's a completely pointless exercise. So I thought, right, we'll put a bit of angle here. The floor just sits in there. There's no great load on it. And it is the proper flooring grade plywood that they use in floors. I can't remember what it's called now. A rhino board, I think it's called, something like that. And that's pretty substantial. The old piece that come out leaning against the wall there is, shall we say, somewhat tender in places, and it's still holding up well. I've been pouring the red oxide paint into all the joints, so everything's full up in here, and then they will all be seam sealed. I've made a provision here for the water to come through, so when it does get, the water does come through, there'll be seam sealer all the way along here, and then the water will simply come out the end, and I've made a slot this time, so we're not going to end up with the problem of it building up in the body. The previous design had holes drilled through the floor here, which basically fed the water straight into the box section, although they hadn't, it was open at the bottom, and likewise here. And it basically just got into all the seams and the joints and just created havoc. So I've gone out of my way this time to protect it and preserve it and think, where's the water going and what can be sealed and what can be seam welded. So I'm not taking any chances. So likewise, I've seam welded all these in here, and now I've got to underneath here. And so all this is sealed up to start with, then it'll be painted, and when the deck's on, it'll all be seam sealed as well. So there's no way any water can get into any of those joints. And of course these sections will be wax oiled, as I've drilled a variety of holes in them ready for waxing. I haven't fitted the side rail on this side yet, because basically I've had enough today. The welding department is finished for today. The last couple of welds I did on the front here were getting a bit messy, because I really had enough. So I thought, right, that's it. Down tools. And talking of tools, as you can see, well, it's everywhere again, basically. And yes, there are multiple cups laying around from multiple cups of tea. I've been having a bit of a tidy up, but things did get a little excitable, shall we say, here today. And here's the side rail fitted on now. That was a nice simple thing to make. So I just used some shelving profile section, which worked out very well. It's got quite a nice design to it. I'm rather pleased with that. I will be fitting an angle on the end here, a piece of aluminium riveted on, just to protect that edge a little bit. But of course, being an open profile channel, there's no way the water can get in or sit inside and corrode it away, so it's easy to clean and easy to paint. I've attached it to the inside of the rails here securely, and the deck will also sit on top of it for some extra support for the plate. The original plate's all cleaned up here, ready to carry on joining through, and again this pillar's in here, so that's all ready to go. It's all worked out rather well, and I'm very pleased with how it's coming out actually. So it's worked out better than I anticipated with the joining to the original. I've managed to get these actually remarkably straight, considering, see, the join is here. Been a lot of work with the straight edge and a lot of tweaking, but it's actually sat in there remarkably well. So I'm very pleased with that. There is a slight variation in the decking plate, in so much that the last people who built this truck seem to have managed to get it wider to the front. So this plate will need trimming a little bit to get it to sit in, but that's no big deal. I think we can handle that. But overall, things have moved on really well today. I've had a totally uninterrupted day, and I've been at this since about 8 o'clock this morning, so I have definitely had enough. And here's a section of the shelving that I use for the side rail. You can see it's a nice thick gauge metal, and it was in about 3 metre lengths, and it really does weld nicely. Very robust steel. It's quite a high grade by the feet. You know, when you cut it, it seems quite hard. So I guess the fact that it's designed to hold racking up, it's got to be quite tough. So it's an ideal for the job. I think it looks pretty good as well. And I've got lots of it. And when I bought a selection of racking beams to use, the guy had it all in a pile, and he said to me, "Oh, that stuff's with it as well if you want it." So I thought, right, free metal's free metal, and make use of it. So that's where I've got to, and like, things are moving along exceptionally well now. Tomorrow I'll fit this other side rail, and I've got a few little bits and pieces today. Then the unenviable task of cleaning up all this horrible plate. I would like to have replaced it, but the budget's not really allowing for that at the moment. But it's not too hard to get this out. I'll just tack it along the edge, couple of tacks under there, and I can get to them easy with the grinder. And I can remove the plate if I want to change it at a later date. I would love at some point to put aluminium in there to save a serious amount of weight, but the cost of that is just prohibitive at the moment. But so that could be done another day without too much work. So that's what I've been up to today, and I think it's time for yet another cup of tea and a definite sit down. So I hope you enjoyed this little video about what I've been up to and how things are progressing in Operation Transit. I'm delighted with progress, and it's looking very, very good. But one thing I did note, although I haven't got the decking on yet, I've got a lot of the heavy stuff on. The vehicle's actually sitting a lot harder than it was before I removed all the other sections. Particularly, I've noticed on the front, it's whole thing's come up by about an inch or so already, just by the sheer amount of weight I took off. On this new section I made here, I should estimate weighs can only weigh about 2/3 of what the other one was. So, and I've saved again on the weight here quite a lot, and especially with these side rails, because I think the entire 2 side rails and uprights will weigh less than one of the originals. So, you know, it's going to help, certainly with the payload. But I keep looking at it and realising how high it was, because I used to sit down here somewhere. So, oh well. A little bit of a benefit from renewing it all. Still, that's what I've been up to, and so I hope you enjoyed this little video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps my YouTube numbers. It's all going very nicely on the channel, so let's keep things rolling. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and bye for now.